Welcome to a place where hearts unwind, infinite threads that gently bind, love and compassion in every line. Together we rise through space and time.
Hey, welcome back to Infinite Threads. I'm your host, Bob. Today I want to talk about evidence. Not the kind we bring into a courtroom, and not the kind that proves something beyond every possible doubt either. I mean the softer kind. The kind that shows up in the middle of a hard day and reminds us that love has not left the world. Sometimes we need that reminder, probably a lot these days. There are days when the world feels heavy before we even have time to catch our breath. We hear too much. We carry too much. We look around and wonder how people can be so careless with one another. On days like that, love may not arrive as an answer. It may arrive as evidence, a small sign, a moment that says, look, it's still here. Someone lets another car in during traffic when they didn't have to. A nurse adjusts a blanket around a patient who may not even remember the kindness later. A neighbor notices that the porch light has been off too long and checks in. How about a tired worker still finding a way to be gentle with the person in front of them? None of these things fixes the whole world. I know that. But they do tell the truth about something that the world often tries to hide. There is still goodness moving through ordinary people every day. It may be quiet, it may be tired, it may not know what to call itself, but it is there. I think we sometimes overlook this kind of evidence because it doesn't feel large enough to compete with the noise around us. Cruelty draws attention. Anger travels quickly. Fear knows how to take up space. Love often works differently. It does not always demand the room. Sometimes it simply kneels beside what is hurting and begins there. That's easy to miss. Easy to miss if we're looking only for grand miracles. But maybe the smaller signs are not small at all. Maybe they're how love keeps proving itself in a world that keeps giving us reasons to doubt it. I've seen people show compassion when they had every excuse to be bitter. I've seen someone who was hurting still make room for another person's pain. I have seen kindness come from people who were carrying private burdens that no one else understood. That kind of thing stays with me. It feels like evidence, not evidence that everything's fine, because everything is not fine. There is suffering that we cannot explain away, and there are wounds that should never have happened. Love is not made stronger by pretending otherwise. But the presence of pain doesn't erase the presence of love. Both can exist in the same day, sometimes even in the same room. A hospital waiting room can hold fear, exhaustion, and tenderness all at once. A funeral can hold grief and gratitude together. A difficult conversation can still contain the quiet decision not to give up on one another. Human life is rarely one thing at a time. Maybe that's why we need gentle evidence. We need reminders that goodness has not disappeared just because sorrow is loud. A phone call at the right moment, a hand on the shoulder, or a message that says, I was thinking about you. Those things can look simple from the outside. To the person who needed them, they may feel like a little light left on in the dark. And sometimes that little light, that's enough for the next step. Not enough for the whole road, but just enough for now. I think love often gives us enough for now. It doesn't always show us how everything will work out, and it doesn't always remove the weight from our shoulders, but it can send someone to walk beside us for a while. And that companionship matters. A person can survive more than they thought they could when they know that they're not entirely alone. This is one reason I believe ordinary kindness is holy. It may be the only proof someone receives that day that they still matter. A softer tone, a little patience, a willingness to listen without turning the moment into a performance. These gestures may pass quickly, but their effect can linger. We rarely know what another person has been asking quietly inside of themselves. Does anyone see me? Would anyone notice if I disappeared? Is there still gentleness anywhere? Then something small happens. Not dramatic and not perfect, just kind. And for a moment, the answer changes. That's the gentle evidence. Love showing itself through a human being who may not even realize the importance of what they offered. I think about that when I feel discouraged by the state of things, which happens frequently. The world is full of terrible evidence too. We do not have to ignore that. We should not ignore that. But if we only look at what is cruel, we will begin to believe cruelty is the whole story. And believe me, guys, it is not. Somewhere right now, someone is forgiving. Someone is staying. Someone is feeding a hungry person. Someone is sitting with the lonely. Someone is choosing not to pass along the harm that was handed to them. I know that sounds almost too simple, but simple does not mean weak. A candle is simple. So is a seed. So is a hand reaching for another hand. Small things can carry enormous meaning when they arrive at the right time. And maybe love knows that. I think it does. Maybe love is not always trying to overwhelm the darkness. Sometimes it's trying to keep one little light from going out. That's a beautiful thought to me, because most of us cannot fix the whole world in one sweep. Can any of us? We can become overwhelmed by that truth, or we can let it make us more faithful to the moment in front of us. There is someone close enough for our kindness to reach. There is a conversation where our tone can matter. There is a burden we may be able to make lighter, even if only for a little while. That's not everything, but it's not nothing. Love rarely asks us to be everything. It asks us to be available to the good that can pass through us. And when that happens, we become evidence too. Someone else may look back on a day and remember that we were kinder than we had to be. They may not remember the exact words, and they may only remember that they felt less alone. That may be enough. Maybe much of love's work happens that way, quietly, almost invisibly, one human moment at a time. The miracle is not always that the darkness disappears. Sometimes the miracle is that tenderness keeps appearing anyway. So So today, if the world feels heavy, look for the gentle evidence. Not as a way to deny what hurts, as a way to remember what is still alive. Notice the person who cares without needing credit. Notice the small mercy that passes through the day and almost goes unnamed. Notice the goodness that doesn't shout. It may not prove everything, but it may remind us of something that we needed to remember. Love is still here. Not always where we expected to find it, and not always as loudly as we hoped, but here. And if it is here, then there's still something worth carrying forward. Don't you think? Thank you. Thank you for spending this time with me on Infinite Threads. May we notice the gentle evidence around us. May we become part of it for someone else. And may love keep leaving small signs along the road, especially when the road feels hard. I love you all very, very much. And you know what I need you to do. Go out and pass that on, okay? Later, Gators. Bye-bye.